Hello. Oh, welcome back. So glad you could join us today. Today, we continue with the absolute insanity that is my modded to hell playthrough of Wolfenstein, ? At this point, I don't know. He has a mustache. And additionally, with this episode, he now has a problem with robots. Yes, we are doing Automatron, but I'm gonna do it in the most ridiculous way that I could fathom. I'm not gonna get into the specifics, but it involves around 7 to 8 people in very large suits of power armor and a few thousand liters of actual grief. Oh, I almost forgot. If you're just randomly clicking on this video and you have no context of what the hell is going on, first off, I'm impressed that you made it past the 30-second mark, and second, you really should watch the other videos to contextualize this a bit. It would make a lot more sense. I have lovingly crafted a very tasteful cinematic universe inside of this otherwise mediocre game. But yeah, watch part 1 and 2. It helped contextualize this a lot. Also, the weird spin-off that I did, that was a lot of fun. That's really cool. You should watch it because no one watched. Okay, bye. I'm gonna run the intro now.
Cabbot, te estoy hablando. ¡Cabbot! A la chilindrina se lo paso porque es mujer, pero a ti te voy a romper todo lo que se llama cara.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the mechanist.
Who has interrupted my programming? Which one was it, you? Nine. What about you? Actually, what does it matter? You know what? You are now in charge of fixing this issue. You see that it is done, or you would also have your nutsack roundhouse kicked into the stratosphere. Tastefully, of course. Mein Gott, I swear I get 5 minutes in between the invasion periods, and I have to spend it roundhouse kicking people's nutsacks into the stratosphere. It's starting to get infuriating. Hi. Okay, so like I said, we're going to do Automatron and some other housekeeping chores for the growing empire. There's an influx of deranged toaster droids interrupting Senor Hilter's programming, so solving this issue is of the utmost importance. We, of course, have the one and only Saxton Hale on the job, and he will lead a squad of big, strong, sweaty men in big, greasy metal suits of armor to victory against these robots, just as the Lord intended. Right, first order of business, we need a bunch of suits of power armor. Just the frames, really? We can craft the pieces ourselves. I don't really have any laying around because initially in episode 1, one of the rules I set for myself was no power armor because I find them to be a massive crutch, but honestly, we are way past that point, and this is kind of a separate arc. Same character, just reskinned to fit the story, you know. A bit confusing, yes, but this is my convoluted way of storytelling, but I assure you, torrid absurdity will follow. Abandon all brain cells, ye who browse here. But I digress. Onward we go. So I found a few locations of power armor suits. I've decided 5, myself included, is a good number for the squad. Oh, and also a robot that I will attach increasingly absurd things to. First up is my set, and apparently there's some power armor at the National Guard training yard. So that's a pretty good starting place. I was going to make a cinematic cut here, but I was having an issue with this janky motorcycle mod and couldn't get a driving clip longer than 10 seconds without crashing, so no lay epic riding sequence, sorry. Mostly Bethesda's fault, but anyway, we are left to begin our journey, pressing into the wilds, sweaty and bare-chested, large machine gun in hand, like any proper Australian.
Australians, oh, their hearts rejoice.
you.
And yeah, it's there, and it was a pretty decent starting set too. This will do nicely. The next set is actually literally just down the road to the training yard at a formerly abandoned convoy, so we are already at 2 sets. I can see it now, our little band of post-apocalyptic crack knights coming together. How beautiful. Throughout the roads on the eastern and center parts of the map, there's various reclaimed military blockades and installations that have since been reclaimed by Imperial forces. These sites actually tend to have a lot of power armor laying around with varying pieces, but that's not too important. We just need the frames. So despite me installing a mod that makes followers' power armor unbreakable, it very much is still breakable because this game is indeed a cruel mistress. So we need a home base, that is quite clear. We need a place that is centralized and power armor accessible, where we can spend hours upon hours of repairing broken pieces of power armor. Anyway, at first I wanted to convert Covenant into an Imperial power armor garage, but there were a few issues with this. First, the Covenant quest line is locked after the main quest has been completed, and second, you really can't fully convert or wipe the settlements. I can because of mods, but the game really doesn't like it when you remove things here. So I ended up just wiping them off the map for being unloyal to the Empire and abandoned the settlements completely, which I'm actually kind of glad I didn't go with it because the build I ended up actually doing turned out to be pretty funny, which you'll see later. Anyway, just down the road is the last power armor frame we need, so I guess the trip over here wasn't entirely a waste. But now that every member of the Fentanists of the Cracked Table has their armor, we might as well start the Automatron quest line because the encounter for that is literally 2 meters from here. I was going to put a cute little fight compilation here, but apparently Ada soloed everything before we arrived somehow. Well done, Bethesda. Anyway, Ada's group got wiped by bots, similar to Hilter's TV reception, so we need to find the source of this funny business and cull it.
My name is Ada. This was the 3rd time we've been attacked by robots like these. Even with the weapon and detection upgrades Jackson gave me, I was unable to defend them.
Maybe you should buy a better weapon at Manco.
An interesting choice of words. They roam the Commonwealth and claim to be restoring order. We've seen them fighting raiders, but they've also attacked innocents, settlers, merchants, and caravans like ours. I will seek justice for my friends and stop these robots from causing further harm. It's time to uncover the source and confront their leader, the Mechanist.
We accept Ada into our band of Fent warriors, and I assure you, we will be attaching exponentially absurd things to her over the course of our adventure. Anyway, back to our base of operations location.
Enjoy your stay.
Enjoy your stay. Enjoy your stay.
We actually ended up adding on to Oberlin Station. We have a recently built communications tower there, so we have the basics laid down already. For now, I just added a basic power armor and weapons workspace onto it, as well as a junk processor. With these facilities, our basic needs are met for now, but rest assured, it will be retrofitted to properly accommodate Saxton Hale and his aura. Excellent use of Imperial funding, if you ask me. Okay, great. Now begins the process of breaking down unholy amounts of junk into scrap to properly outfit our frames. Again, modded, but these combat armor pieces are straight drip, so I couldn't resist. The downside being how freaking expensive they are, but that's the cost of being drippy, I guess. We basically buy out all of the available traders for junk, so that warrants a trip back to our beloved city of Cordoba. Ah yes, nothing like a little Argentinian charm to lift the spirits.
Every shot counts!
Anyway, once we have a few factories working, we can begin crafting in our new testosterone cave. Of course, we immediately attach giant saw blades to Ada, and wait, hang on, excuse me. Hey, I'm trying to freaking modify my Fentbot right now. Yeah, bad neighborhood, I guess. Anyway, Ada has a snazzy new set of twin saw blades. Okay, after like 2 hours, we managed to process all the scrap, and it was almost enough for all the pieces, but honestly, that's close enough for the first dungeon in my opinion, so whatever. Initially, I was going to give everyone Gatling lasers and big machine guns, but it's way funnier to use various blunt objects for weapons instead. Like, one of them has a frying pan, and another has a guitar, and one has a super sledge. And I think the last one has like the really underwhelming flaming sword, like the shish kebab or whatever. I don't know. We'll see how well this works, and we'll adjust accordingly. Okay, enough housekeeping for now. So with Automatron, we are trying to find the source of the crackbots plaguing the Commonwealth. We ourselves don't know where they are coming from, but the robots do. And some of the swarms or armies have a commander of sorts, a brainbot with a beacon that they receive orders through. So all we need to do is simply just rip a few of those out, and we're good to go.
Come on.
No.
Are you able to self-destruct?
No.
Ada apparently knows where the first one is, and then she can find more after she's been upgraded with a radar beacon thing. We will get to that later. The first location and first dungeon of this DLC is this dilapidated General Atomics factory. I usually never play with power armor, but it turns out it's really freaking fun to smack robots with a big hammer. Like a cracked out medieval knight. I don't have my mic audio for this, but I was laughing my ass off smacking these around. Also, it didn't help hearing random frying pan and guitar slamming noises in the distance. Truly a work of art. My, how I am proud.
You picked a fight with the wrong man!
But anyway, with a moderate amount of effort, we can grab the Mechanist device off this brainbot and continue the quest line.
Did you retrieve something from that robot?
Just this piece of junk.
Even junk may hold a purpose. Impressive technology. If my analysis is correct, this is a specialized radar beacon. I suspect it's how the Mechanist was keeping track of the robo-brain you destroyed. As the next logical step, I need you to install this beacon within me so we can use it to our advantage.
To your caregiving duties. Now please, proceed into the first test chamber. First, we must test your disciplinary and behavioral management skills. The quality assurance associate will be playing the role of your hypersensible child.
Search for
Little
development.
Timmy. Little Timmy has kept a valuable vase while playing catch in the house. The vase was a family heirloom, and it is quite irreplaceable. Please punish the child accordingly. The child is disciplined. The child is disciplined. The child is disciplined. fantastic. The appropriate punishment was separation of the child from any potential source of entertainment. Please proceed into the second test chamber. A proper Miss Magik must be able to identify the needs of her charges. Please assess the state of the crying child and fulfill its needs. Correct. The child was hungry. Your vocal tonality analysis programming seems to be in working order. Please, congratulations. It appears you are fully functional and ready to return to service. Please take a replacement fusion core from the safe in the hallway on your way out.
We can now install a radar beacon onto Ada, and this will allow us to find more and actually reconstruct the signal and trace the source.
Ada.
A moment. Analyzing Mechanist hardware. The radar beacon is receiving a strong encrypted signal, but I can't determine the source.
Well, that's useless. I did all this for nothing.
On the contrary, with some additional assistance, I should be able to decrypt the signal and locate the Mechanist. Fortunately, I'm detecting another robo-brain in the Commonwealth that's receiving the same signal.
Another robo-brain? Who cares?
We care. Allow me to explain. The encryption on the source signal is complex, but not beyond solving. If you can bring me 2 additional beacons, they should provide the keys and algorithms that I need to enhance my decryption routines.
This better work.
Provided the human element doesn't fail, it will.
Okay, great. Now the location of a few more devices have been revealed on the map, and we can go and collect. Excellent.
This will do nicely, and with any luck, it'll help us trace the Mechanist signal. I've picked up another robo-brain beacon signal. It should be the last one you'll need to collect. The signal is coming from... Oh, this isn't good. Location confirmed. The robo-brain is at Fort Hagen Satellite Array, which means it's in the hands of the Rust Devils.
Lemon juice.
Now, if you thought we would be diving straight into that dungeon, well, welcome to a FoxSpaceMagik video. We will actually be going on a long tangent liberating an immortal schizoid with ancient eldritch technology embedded in his head from an insane asylum, and of course to do that we need to commune with a centuries-old vampire and his wrinkly friend to retrieve their lost file of metachlorians. If that sentence didn't make sense, good. Get wrecked, Normie.
Oh, it's you. Good. Come on in. Doors open.
Jack, the new guys.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Cabbot House. I'm Jack Cabbot.
The name's Saxton Hale.
Now, before we get down to business, I have a question I'd like to ask all my new employees. Don't interrupt. The question is this. Do you believe there is other intelligent life in the universe?
I'm not sure there's any intelligent life in the universe.
You're sending him to look for the missing shipment.
Jack owns a facility north of the city. There's an important package that went missing between there and here. I need you to track it down and bring it back to me.
I'm out of here.
Good luck.
Good to see you again.
Get out of my way.
This place is off limits. You'd best move along.
I need to know what happened to the missing package. Now.
Ah, you must be Edward's new Mr. Fix-It. He sure knows how to pick 'em. So this package, Pretty sure we know where it is. The guys that shot Ben are holed up in the Parsons Creamery, just north of here.
Get out of my sight.
Maria's in charge.
Something's out. Come on now, rookie.
Keep out of my way.
What a foul.
She's not missing,
So did you find out what happened to the courier?
No,
Keep out of my way.
that doesn't mean...
Get out of my way.
Tick-tock.
Just some raiders that ambushed him.
I don't like raiders operating so close to Parsons. I hope this isn't the start of something serious. What about the serum he was carrying? Did you get any of it back?
There was only this one vial left.
Oh, good. Oh, hell. I guess it's time you met Wilhelmina.
The sister's even crazier than Jack.
She's not crazy. She just wants the world to be a different place than it really is. I don't know where she's gone.
I'm off to find the loony sister then. Move!
Okay, the weirdos have their shipment of Benadryl back, but now it turns out the crazy-ass sister got captured by evangelical communists, which we are tasked with dealing with. So, the first step is to visit the stingy bar in Good Neighbor, of course.
I just need a man who's man enough. I got arms, I'll hold you tight. I've got charms to keep you with me at night. I've got all that you could ever.
Crazy? You're still...
I got lips, ruby and sweet. I've got hips that can't be beat.
Stay out of my way.
You saw that big explosion? Do you happen to know where that preacher fella came from?
Brother Thomas.
Yes, that's right. The one Imogene was always hanging on.
Had to throw him out. Wouldn't stop bothering customers with that salvation racket. Kept going on and on about joining him at the back bay. Then he'd shove those stupid flyers in your face. Here, kept one of them, just in case he didn't pay his bar tab.
Well, thanks, honey. You were a big help.
Anything for you, miss.
I hope Imogene's all right. I didn't much like the idea of her going off with that preacher fella.
Get out of my way. I was wondering if we could get to know each other better.
Oh, really? Go on.
Oh, I woke up here. Just me, my underwear, and regret.
Some women find that irresistible.
You, me, an evening walk under the streetlights.
And then what?
Music.
I knew you were something special, all right? Let me get my coat.
Yeah. Let's get out of here.
Welcome to the tutorial level! Saxton Hale! Oh, that tickles!
Ready to take that first step into a new life?
You owe it to yourself to give it a chance.
Yes, I am.
All right then, don't be shy.
I've got more important things to worry about.
Right this way, neighbor. All righty. I hope you're as
You're Jack's sister. I was expecting someone a bit younger.
You really know how to flatter a lady, don't you? Just to be clear, I'm Jack's younger sister. Once I get home and get some of Jack's serum, I'll be back to my usual stunning self.
Jack has a serum that reverses aging?
It's more like it halts aging. I started taking it when I was 32, so normally that's what I look like.
Your boyfriend's dead.
So yeah, the serum the Cabbot family has been consuming halts aging, essentially allowing them to live forever as long as they have it. Jack is nearly 400 years old and also hostile for some reason now, okay? Anyway, upon loading a quick save and returning his sister, there seems to be a critical security breach at the asylum they control, the same place where their alleged insane father is being held.
I'm trying, Jack.
Not now.
I've never seen raiders that...
Not now. Not now. Not now.
Keep out of my way.
If these people are inside Parsons, if they...
Don't worry, I'll handle it.
I always knew it would end this way.
What's going
I
on?
never should have allowed you
That was
to lock
Edward.
up Lorenzo
He's
in
at
that
Parsons,
place.
the old asylum.
I found Emma Jean. She's fine.
Oh, yes, good. Now, we really need to focus on the current emergency.
How can you be so callous about your sister's safety?
I wonder if these could be the same raiders that stole that last shipment. If some of them had used the undiluted serum, it could explain their unusual success against Edward's men.
What exactly does this serum do?
I suppose it's time you knew. The main benefit of the serum is to halt aging. My family and I are all over 400 years old. But it also confers other side effects, especially in the undiluted form that the raiders stole. It increases strength and resistance to all kinds of physical damage.
If you're 400 years old, then you were born before the Great War.
Yes, I think you were too. I'd say mid-21st century?
That's right. I was in cryo-sleep until recently.
Interesting. We'll have to talk more about that later.
Where do you get this serum from?
My father, Lorenzo Cabbot, is confined in Parsons. He became dangerously unstable after handling an artifact he found on an archaeological dig in Arabia. He gained various seemingly paranormal powers, as well as becoming increasingly irrational and violent. In the end, I had no choice but to confine him, for his own safety, as well as ours.
Jack, are you sure it's wise telling him all this?
In the course of my attempts to cure him, I discovered that the artifact had introduced anomalies into his blood. So the source of his insanity is also the basis of the treatments that have prolonged all our lives. The irony isn't lost on me, but if he were to escape from Parsons, I would lose my father forever. I will not allow that to happen. Not to mention that the artifact has made him paranoid, homicidally violent, and endowed with extraordinary abilities.
Being locked up for 200 years by your own son might make anyone a bit grumpy.
Just do what you're being paid to do.
Okay.
Good.
I will do a proper lore dump on the Cabbots after the quest line, but now it's time to clear out the asylum and smack some bitches with me hammer. Oh, also forgot to mention I upgraded all of my knights to super sludges because I had like 12 laying around in the Imperial Armory, so yeah, we'll see how that works out. Oh yes, please enjoy. I know I certainly will.
Okay, stick close, follow my orders, and I'm sure everything will be fine. Let's go. Kept them from using the elevator?
Yeah. I sent the elevator down to the basement, like you wanted, and shut it down.
Good.
Shot quite a few of them before they decided to leave me alone in here. Haven't seen anybody for quite a while. I think it's hard to keep track of time.
Are you sure you can't get up? I could really use your help.
Yeah, Jack. I'm
Excellent.
pretty damn sure.
Well, then don't worry about it. Me and your friend here will have to take care of things ourselves.
What exactly is going on here?
I suppose it's time you knew. It's hard to overstate exactly how dangerous the artifact has made Lorenzo. In addition to being homicidally psychotic, he has also gained enhanced strength and unusual resistance to most kinds of physical damage. He also commands a kind of local telekinesis, which appears to be projected by the artifact itself. Now, we need to get to the basement before these intruders find a way to set Lorenzo free. Follow me.
A quick side note, Jack Cabbot is actually a legitimate doctor. You can see some of his patient files in his old pre-war office on this computer, which is a pretty neat detail in my opinion. Anyway, I'm gonna let the rest of this play out and explain my reasoning and lore after. Off we go.
Hello, Jack. It's been a long time since I've had the pleasure of a personal visit.
I will stop this.
My powers have grown, Jack. The artifact still has so much to teach me. Once I am free, I will be happy to teach you too.
No, I can't let you out until I can remove the artifact. Lock down all the security doors. I'll have to open them one by one from here while you work your way down the hallway. Quickly now.
That's right. You need to shut down the containment field in order to open the door.
We're so close now.
You're running out of time.
I'm opening
That's
the main
right.
door.
What the?
Hurry!
You need to shut down the containment field in order to open the door. Apparently, even the simplest task is beyond your capability. That's it. I can feel my strength returning. Now, I can finally be free.
time for him to regain his powers. We still have a chance to stop him.
Don't listen to my son. He's the crazy one. You know this. Look at what he's done to me.
I built a failsafe into the containment grid. Switched the 4 Abremlin generators to manual override, and I can flood his cell with a lethal dose of Zeta radiation.
Do the right thing. Open this door and let me out.
Do not listen to him. This is what he does. Surely you can see that.
Ah, at long last, you did the right thing. You'll see.
Father, don't do this.
Too late, Jack. Why don't you wait there so that we can have that little chat that's so long overdue?
Get away while you can.
It seems Jack doesn't want to talk to his father. We'll have to kill him, you know. And all the rest of them.
How long have you been locked up in here?
My loving son trapped me here in the year of our Lord, 1898, so, almost 400 years. I think you were about to agree to helping me kill Jack and the rest of my traitorous kin, yes?
Sounds good to me.
Then let us adjourn to Cabbot House. I'm sure that's where they'll hole up. I'll meet you there. Just don't start without me.
There we go. Excellent.
Have you lost your mind? Why did you release Lorenzo?
You were just keeping him prisoner to keep yourselves alive.
That's a lie. I worked for centuries to find a way to cure him. But he doesn't want to be cured. He likes what he's become.
Hold on there, Jack. He has a point. Your story about curing Lorenzo has never quite added up.
What are you doing, Edward?
I'd just like to hear what he has to say. He's talked to Lorenzo. I never have. You're saying you think Jack's been lying about Lorenzo all this time?
Yes. Lorenzo doesn't seem crazy to me, although he's understandably pretty pissed off.
Well, goddamn. I guess you have some explaining to do, Jack.
You can't seriously doubt me, Edward. After all I've done for you?
Oh my...
Ah, you're all here. Good.
How did you get in here?
Why so surprised? This is my house, after all. I like what you've done with the place.
Lorenzo, thank God you finally escaped. Jack just wouldn't listen. You know I would never.
You have all betrayed me. Kept me in prison and fed off me like vampires to prolong your pathetic, worthless lives. That is now over. Your time is up.
So that's it, huh?
Please, Lorenzo, it wasn't me. It was Jack. Oh God, no!
Target down. Need any components? I have some to spare.
Well, that's done. Thank you for your assistance.
They had it coming.
I can see you understand the deep satisfaction of revenge, long delayed. Now that I've taken care of that bit of old business, I can see that I have a lot to learn. Things have changed while I've been locked away. This new world seems to be one of limitless possibilities for people of our talents and inclinations.
I can see that we're gonna get along just fine.
Oh, I knew that from the first moment I saw you in that cell. I knew you would understand why freeing me was the right thing to do. But first, one last piece of unfinished business. I promised to share my blood with you, and I always keep my promises. Here is your reward. I will provide you with a lifetime supply as needed.
Excuse me.
It's a damn shame things had to end like...
Thanks for backing me up. I never thought you'd turn on Jack like that.
I've had my doubts about the Lorenzo situation for a long time. You may not realize, I've been working for the Cabbot since before the Great War. I never met Lorenzo, of course. He was already locked up in Parsons when I came on board. So I've had to take Jack's word for everything the whole time. And I won't lie, I had a good situation here, and I didn't want to rock the boat. I don't know if it was the right decision or not. But what's done is done. Well, no point in hanging around here any longer. I'm done with the Cabbots.
Please make yourself at home. What can I do for you?
I was curious about the ancient artifact you always wear.
Jack spent so many futile years trying to understand this. I could have told him everything he wanted to know. Through it, I commune with the ancient minds that founded our civilization. Whether they live within it, or it communicates with them through time or space, or whether it simply holds their memories, I don't know. What I do know is that it has widened my horizons beyond the tiny scope granted to normal men. I spent my long captivity exploring the memories of the ancients, their arts and sciences, their philosophy and worldview. Was there anything else?
Are you really over 400 years old?
Yes, I truly am. Although since I spent almost 4 centuries of that locked in a tiny room, I have spent most of my time exploring my own mind, as it were. Are we done?
Out of my way.
So, if you haven't guessed by now, the Cabbot family is a few centuries old. They were and still are scientists, or more so were. Their father, whom they've had imprisoned for a while, was an archaeologist, and found the artifact in question somewhere deep in Arabia. This gave him immense inhuman powers, and also altered his personality, most likely from having schizophrenic-like symptoms while communicating with the alleged minds imbued within it. Honestly, reminds me of the Ice King's crown from Adventure Time, if you wanted a comparison. But anyway, the rest of the Cabbots imprisoned him in the asylum, where Jack had always worked. We can dig through various logs in both the asylum and their house to find details on their findings. They eventually found out that his blood could be refined into a serum that halts aging if consumed, allowing them to live forever, much like the elites do in Hollywood. A lot of people say there is no morally correct choice in this conflict, but I tend to disagree. Yes, you are murdering a family that is understandably scared of an alien relic, but at the same time, they were knowingly abusing and profiting off of the situation, going as far as even lying to their own trusted men to keep the secret. And Lorenzo is super chill. He even held up his end of the deal. To me, what was done seems like justice more than anything. Now that's out of the way, there's a lot of lore on these computers in the Cabbot house. Context, memoirs, and reflections on them actually now being immortal. And my favorite example being how Jack would have to occasionally fake his own death and pretend to be a distant cousin that inherited all his assets. Once people started getting suspicious of his age, even going as far as wearing a fake beard to help disguise himself. And he continued this at least up until the bombs fell. And at that point, he even expressed that he was relieved that he didn't have to, fake his own death anymore. These are definitely worth a full read if you ever end up doing this side quest. For the sake of time and, more importantly, viewer retentionship, I'm not going to get into crazy detail or read the logs verbatim. But yes, that's the Cabbot quest line. Definitely one of the better ones for sure. And now we have an unlimited supply of life serum, essentially Fallout's version of Australium. More esoteric tech for the Empire, very nice. Okay, fine, no more tangents. It's time to get back to throngling robots. Right, so the next location of the last brain is in the Fort Hagen satellite array. This is actually a really cool dungeon. I like the aesthetic of the Rust Devils, and I really wish this DLC did more with this raider group because they are exclusive to this one dungeon, I'm pretty sure, which is a shame. As far as gameplay, it really actually reminded me of Skyrim a little bit. It may have been all the melee combat, but to be honest, this dungeon really is built more like a castle, which I find kind of cool.
Here they go!
One day when
calculate a 98.8% chance that you're looking for the Mechanist. If I'm correct, and I usually am, then perhaps we can help each other with our respective predicaments. Once we're at our destination, I'll happily relinquish my radar beacon as a gesture of good faith. Now, I strongly suggest you stop loitering in the middle of a hostile location and get us both out of here at once.
Anyway, as what's going on with the story, the Rust Devils managed to snag one of the Robo-Brains and hook it up to this computer for interrogation. It is possibly the most insufferable character next to Marcy Long, and unfortunately, it won't be possible to penetrate the Mechanist's fortress without a special modification, which it refuses to give you unless you help it, and because this is Fallout 4, your options are stop the DLC entirely, or say, of course, happy to help. Again, so much left to be desired, hence why we have 200 mods installed. But, you know, I digress. Anyway, time to stomp through the dungeon. Okay, pretty fun. Wish it was longer, but we have the brain that we needed. Also, yes, I grabbed the full suit of XO1 that happened to be here, and I did a salvage sweep off camera, and if you were curious, there's around 1,000 carry weight worth of junk here. Oh, it reminds me of like the little ticket muncher at the Chuck E. Cheese there. What's the f*** it was called? Crunch, my friend, yes. Anyway, time to give this bitch a body so we can get the schematics and upgrade Ada again. Only then can we begin our final assault on the Fentanist and restore Hilter's TV signal. Oh my gosh, I've been switching voices too much. I fear he's starting to take over. Great, now with that out of the way, we can upgrade Ada with the MSAT module. And you know what? The double Gatling lasers I put on before the Rust Devils dungeon is
a bit too powerful, and I wasn't satisfied with the amount of robots I smacked, so we are swapping one of them with a big hammer. Also, I think it's time to properly outfit Saxton's workshop. Much better. Now it's worthy and has a nice Mann-Co touch. What more does a man need? A sleeping bag, a weight set, an espresso machine, a charcoal grill, and a computer. I honestly can't think of anything else. We also, of course, have a full power armor accessible bar with a sitting area right on the ramp. Honestly, I'm a bit jealous. Excellent, excellent. Now we are properly prepared to wipe out the Fentanist.
Sorry, Your Highness. The royal tailor has been quite ill, and I'm afraid the task fell to me instead.
By my calculations, the easiest way to help a human is simply to destroy it.
Why did General Atomics make you so uncooperative?
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
Is there a chance these robots could be misinterpreting orders?
Yes, I've considered the possibility.
We have decrypted the signal and have the location, which is a Robco sales and service store, quote unquote.
I'd like to activate your self-destruct system.
No.
This little store is actually just a facade for a large corporate/military cooperative that, you know, tortures and harvests their citizens for corporate profit. More on that in just a second. We quickly find the hidden entrance and unlock it with the MSAT. Yeah, not sure what I expected from 5 dudes in power armor, but anyway, this facility is massive. It really is quite a fascinating dungeon and location. It's also arguably one of the darkest locations in the game. More on that in a bit. Now it's time to hit things with a hammer.
Let's get this done. How are you injured, sir?
So far, we're tracking on schedule for the latest RoboBrain milestone. Dr. Asante has assured me that the active time between memory wipes has been greatly increased. Hopefully, that will hold true in our latest live testing. The senior engineers also informed me that their latest assembly line adjustments have been completed early. I can only hope that means due diligence was still paid, and we're not going to be looking at a total system breakdown again. Other than that, I'm still worried about the test subjects. Right now, we've got more than enough to meet our demand. It's not like these things grow on trees.
Ooh, juicy lore time. If that's something that bores you, just skip ahead. You can't expect everyone to be capable of abstract thought, now can you? And you're still here. Congratulations, you passed the test. There's a good chance your IQ is higher than room temperature. Congratulations. So, for context, this installation was a collaboration between the United States government / military and Robco that systematically harvested human brains and manufactured them into robots. Here we have a few cell blocks, and approaching them, we can find a couple logs referencing how uneasy the staff were feeling. Prisoners unfortunately found their way into the facility, and when it was time for their body to be useful to the corporations, they were taken down this elevator, involuntarily of course, to the processing facility, where their brains were ripped from their skulls and their memories completely erased. The rest of their body was simply discarded afterwards. Now, yes, horribly dark, but what makes it worse is how much detail went into all this. Let's take a look at some of the logs and audio tapes.
Anise Ciroletti, Chief Scientist. This is the third time I've had to request more security. As thorough as our assembly procedures may be, there's a human factor to be considered. These are criminal and unstable minds. It can't be a scientist's job to ensure each test subject is properly sedated. I was promised military assistance and security, but we need more. I won't allow my crew to be endangered. As fascinating as it may be to integrate the human mind with robotics, sometimes I wish I never signed on to this project.
Just a few summaries of these reconditioning transcripts. The first one is the most disturbing in my opinion, because you have Ciroletti essentially talking to a brain they just extracted and quote-unquote memory wiped. Turns out they didn't actually wipe the brain well enough, and it's still completely conscious and in fact panicking that it no longer has a body. And then panicking again after Ciroletti is threatening to turn him off, quote-unquote. Yeah. fucked up stuff. The second transcript is a little less traumatizing, mainly because the brain is completely fried and doesn't respond. The third one is a bit like the first one. The brain initially functions like a computer taking commands, but then after searching the memories more, it figures out that it actually is still a human brain. After terminating this brain, Ciruletti expresses her frustration with the reconditioning team and their quote-unquote sloppy work. The fourth one is actually quite interesting. Much like the first brain, the reconditioning or memory wipe completely failed, and after Ciruletti attempts to put in a single command, the fully conscious brain not only understands what happened to him and where he is, but actually threatens Ciruletti, threatening to completely kill her and everyone else in the facility if they don't return him to his body. And when asked if the lack of his original body disturbs him, the brain simply says, "No, it doesn't matter. Whatever it takes, I'll end all of you." What a complete Chad. Funnily enough, Ciruletti is actually impressed and recommends sending him to a tactical team after proper reconditioning. Man, I wish I could sink my hammer right into Ciruletti's face. Anyway, in addition, there is another terminal with 4 additional logs. The Brain Extraction Workstation. That's a lovely name, isn't it? The first log is quite visceral, as it describes equipment failure due to the sheer amount of brains they are harvesting. The second log essentially is the staff mixing in some of the brain gel with various alcohols, making cocktails. This log is meant to highlight how nonchalant and psychopathic the staff are. Yes, this log is written humorously, but said humor is born from a complete lack of empathy, blissfully ignorant of the deranged morality of their work. And this is also applicable to the third log, which details how the staff got one of the extracted brains, covered it in cake icing, and presented it at one of their birthday parties, emphasizing how hilarious it was when they cut into it and found out it wasn't actually a cake, ending the log by stating how well they all work together. Most sane corporate employees, by the way. The last log is from the perspective of whoever is writing, and they are basically complaining how one of their co-workers made an offhand comment at how they are disturbed with the method in which they dispose of their test subjects. He then later flaunts in the log that he doesn't get disturbed by his work at all, and actually complains that if people do find it disturbing, they should look for work elsewhere. Again, I wish I could sink my hammer into this dude's face. That is all the important stuff. There is a couple miscellaneous terminals and even like a terminal that describes the different batches and how they make improvements over the generations, but those aren't terribly important. Anyway, you've probably drawn the same conclusion that I have. The staff were complete psychopaths. Yes, these were criminals, they were murderers, but they were still humans. It's sickening how nonchalant the staff were and how they even found humor in all of this. It's honestly disturbing, even for me. It's evident from the logs and the audio clips that the brains were conscious, and who knows, still might be, just sitting in these jars for centuries, nothing but darkness detached from everything. You know, Fallout games can be very dark, yes, but just something about this is different. The government helping corporations to turn humans into cheap computer processors for profit is a hell of a concept that only Fallout could depict so perfectly. Anyway, let's not let the dark thoughts take over. Not today. Not today. Not today. Hey, this reminds me of that one Metallica song. Get it? One Metallica song. One. We must defeat the Fentanists. Just behind this gate is the main control center, and also where we meet the Fentanist face to face. And oh my, get ready for a little tumble, my friends. A Royal Rumble, even.
Halt, miscreants! You may have infiltrated my sanctum and destroyed my robots, but your reign of terror ends here!
Shut up already. Show me what you got.
The Commonwealth has suffered more than its fair share of injustices because of you. Now you'll face the full might of the Mechanist. My righteous robots will end your tyranny once and for all. Sparks, so back up.
hiding? Come face me, you coward.
I watched you survive what should have been a guaranteed attempt to stop you. Besides, do you truly think I'd leave the safety of my command center?
Bots take orders. You're the only one with the motivation to stop me. Now show me what you got and fight me.
Fine. I'll show you what I'm truly capable of.
Yes, the Fentanist is no more. The crackbot manufacturing has stopped. They will no longer plague the Empire. And now, Hilter has his TV signal back. Oh, very nice. There's actually a decent amount of loot back here, and the rest of the facility is actually a really interesting aesthetic. Definitely worth a little walkthrough. We also get this entire facility, or at least this main control center area, as a settlement, which is a hard pass for me because it's creepy as hell down here and super weird, and I much prefer my little workshop paradise that is Oberlin Station. But overall, this is a really good dungeon. Like, you could definitely tell where a majority of the DLC's budget went into. Also, no point in reasoning with the Mechanist. I know you can peacefully resolve this, but just taking the route of not caring at all and smashing through with pure hard power, in my opinion, is much more thematically appropriate for this universe and with Saxton. Wait, why am I explaining this? I should be in the outro sequence right now, not breaking my cinematic wall. Okay, bye guys, love you, thanks.
The Mechanist deserved to die. You don't pose a great threat to the Commonwealth. You get to live.
A just end for the pain and suffering inflicted.
Get the hell out of my face.
That's the video. I'm just gonna staple on some yapping here at the end. Right. When I initially uploaded that New Order video damn near a year ago, I honestly really had no idea that this would blossom into a full-fledged series. Like, its own cracked-out cinematic universe. Like, I just took a really absurd concept and tried a very experimental editing style, and it worked for some reason. But what I wanted to say is this series has been very much a cooperative thing. It's been both my part and both your part as well. The entire reason why I continued this series and put so much effort into it is because of how much people were enjoying it. Like, seriously guys, I appreciate it so much, all the support. As for what's next, we've completed the base game along with all the DLCs and I would say a majority of the side quests. What I'm planning to do is actually Fallout London, and of course within like the same cinematic crack verse, continuing the story basically after part 2, because part 2 canonically takes place the latest. This one, like my last spin-off video, takes place between part 1 and 2. It will all make sense when I eventually do the giant director's cut mega video, but for now, Fallout London, I'm just going to say right now, this is going to take some time, guys. Fallout London is a game in itself, and on top of that, I'm going to be attempting to mod a mod. So the mod pack I'll be using is going to be a lot more sparse and will take an immense amount of testing. I also want to play through it fully at least once, maybe twice, just so I know how the hell to actually script the video. If this process is streamed or not, I cannot tell you, but you may or may not see a little live button in your YouTube homepage one of these days. If you do, please pop in and say hi. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Okay, thank you. Make sure to watch the video 12 times in a row. Goodbye.